what's up? Marty Schwartz here, GuitarJams.com. Got a brand new Acoustic Blues DVD set coming out this Thursday. You can click the link to the right to sign up for the pre-release offer on that. I'm going to give you a little taste right now. We're going to talk about blues chords right now. And I'm going to stick with the key of E, the blues in E, and just show you, some of my favorite chords that kind of go into that. Blues in E would be 3 chords. It would be an E7 chord, which you take a regular E major chord and you just take your ring finger off. An A7 chord, which is a regular A major, but with the open G string in there instead, so I take my middle finger off. Some guys play it like that. Okay, so that's basic. And then the basic B7 chord. 2nd fret on the A, 1st fret on the D, 2nd fret on the G, and then pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E. It's a B7. So those are all just the basic chords. E7 to A7, E7, E7, back to A7. To E7, then B7, A7, and basic turnaround. So let's talk about that E7 chord first. We take that regular E7 chord. Some things that you can do to just spice it up. One, you can take your pinky and you can put it on the 3rd fret, or your ring finger. That's going to be hard though. Pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. That's still just an E7 chord, so you can do that instead. Now you could also take your pinky and do it instead on the 3rd fret of the high E. Okay, but within those, you can add them and take them off within the chord, like... You can also experiment with that ring finger coming down on the, just to make it a regular E chord too, mixed in. You could also add the 2nd fret on the B string to that chord, and that would be called basically an E13. It sounds, those little extra flavors really really sound even better when you're adding them and then going to another chord and adding flavors for the 2nd chord. So we've got this E7. Now another thing, this is like a Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of thing. You can take your pinky and cover the 3rd fret of the high E and the B. Okay, now the A7 chord, there's some really cool stuff. Obviously there's this thing called the Land of A7. I have a pretty well watched video on YouTube about that, and it's also on these new DVDs. But what I want to show you right now is you've got this A7 chord. You can always add your pinky to that 3rd fret of the high E on that. And that 3rd fret of the B too. So watch, if I do some of those tricks with the E7, and then I'll do some of the tricks with the A7. Watch. the idea, right? This is another cool thing, and this is part of the, used a lot in the fingerstyle blues, which I cover on those DVDs as well. You can play an A major chord by barring the 2nd fret, like that, and then add your pinky to this high root. This is an A note right here. But what happens is you go from the 5 to the 3 on the high E within the chord. So check this out. Alright, so that's another cool thing right there. And mixed in with the E7 or the A7, you can always add the regular 12-bar blues vibe to it too. Alright, on that B7 chord, what you can do is you can play what's called a B9 chord instead, which with the fingering here, this is tricky for some people. It's really good practice, so take your ring finger and we're going to cover it over the 2nd fret of the E, B, and G string, and then middle fingers on the 2nd fret of the A, index fingers on the 1st fret of the D. When you do that, you can add your pinky to the 4th fret of the high E. Got a nice, sweet, jazzy sound to it. What you can do is turn this into what's called the Hendrix Chord. And you can play a B7, but instead of your pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E, you're going to move it to the 3rd fret of the B. Darker, gritty. And the high E is just basically muted by my pinky. And so what you can do is do this is called a B7 sharp 9, or B Hendrix chord is what I usually call it. You can do the B, and then a half step up, half step down, turn around. Check it out.